The great demon Pei Shu opened her eyes and became the daughter of the Pei family who had been wandering outside for many years. Unfortunately, at this moment, she was already covered in black rumors, kicked out of the house, and even burdened with a high penalty for breach of contract. Pei Shu said that's it. Just as the Pei family was happily celebrating that this stain had finally been swept out, a live broadcast room quietly exploded. CEO of a multinational corporation. Master Pei, another dozen whitening pills. Famous directors formed a group to give a reward. Master Pei, without your program, movie, we wouldn't be filming. International diva actor. Because of Shu, I have today. Netizen. Believe Pei Shu, have eternal life. I also have money, let me buy it. Even the printing factory on the brink of bankruptcy has come back to life because of printing Pei Shu's posters. She turned out to be the real big shot, and the Pei family cried and begged to pick her up. A top aristocrat from abroad issued a statement overnight. Pei Shu, the only heir. No CP plus mystery plus live streaming plus vest plus Shuangwen, Pei Shu said, in a different place, are you a big shot or a big shot? Keywords of the novel. After a complete online blackout, the founder of Xuanxue sold goods for billions without a pop-up window. After a complete online blackout, the founder of Xuanxue sold goods for billions. Download the complete text. After a complete online blackout, the founder of Xuanxue sold goods for billions. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Opening your mouth will make you difficult. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Opening your mouth will make you difficult, Miss Pei, could you please leave quickly? It's no use sticking around here. Please don't make it difficult for us. Pei Shu's head went dizzy for a moment, and suddenly an inappropriate male voice sounded in her ear. When she opened her eyes, everything around her appeared so strange. A pile of memories that didn't belong to her rushed towards her head, and she finally realized that she, who had not been killed by the thunder, had actually returned to life with a corpse. This body was originally a young lady from the Pei family. 20 years ago, she was abducted to the deep mountains by human traffickers. Coincidentally, a mudslide buried the entire village underground, and only she survived. With the help of the police, she successfully found her own home, but unfortunately, the family did not welcome her arrival very much, and even had some disgust. Because the Pei family already has an excellent young daughter, her knowledge, ability, and demeanor are incomparable to the original owner. But the younger daughter was very happy with her arrival and brought the original owner to the entertainment industry together. The reason is that the original owner is truly beautiful. So, under the special arrangement of Pei Ruqin, the youngest daughter of the Pei family, Pei Shu became that tacky, vulgar, and cunning malicious woman, with black material that could be said to have remained unchanged for 365 days. Those malicious words almost crushed the girl who grew up in the deep mountains. The last straw that crushed her was being tricked into signing a contract to go to sea. She would rather die than comply, and in the end, it was only after the Pei family's parents intervened and paid a penalty of 5 million yuan that the matter was settled. However, as a result, the Pei family has officially issued a notice to terminate their relationship with Pei Shu. This has been widely praised on the internet, and netizens believe that Pei's parents and father have done a good job. Without the identity of the Pei family, Pei Shu can still be a demon. Pei Shu was completely foolish. She didn't know why things had progressed to this point. Even though she didn't do anything, she was unjustly accused. The people of the Pei family did not give her a chance to think, and the servant vigorously threw her and her belongings out. A thin and weak person couldn't withstand such strength. With a fierce push, they collided with the steps and disappeared. The security guard thought she was causing trouble and didn't want to leave, so there was the opening scene. Pei Shu sorted out her thoughts, stood up with her suitcase, patted the dust off her body, turned her head and squinted her eyes, looking at the servant Chen Xiaohong with her waist crossed by the door. She was Pei Ruqin's capable subordinate. Some people are born without those fates, even if they fly onto a branch, they cannot stand still and are destined to fall to death. They have already publicly insulted, can Pei Shu tolerate it? Some people are destined to have an affair with their husbands and take care of others' sons, resulting in a miserable life. You. Pei Shu turned around and ignored her. She carried her own box and walked out, even though she was still saying something behind her, such as, there are mothers born but no mothers raised, and, no wonder no one wants such malicious words. She doesn't care, just scold her. Anyway, all the sins she creates will be fulfilled on herself one by one. It's just that the attitude of the parents of the Pei family towards the original owner is somewhat suspicious. It seems there is still some hidden truth. Oh, isn't this Miss Pei from the Pei family? Why do you have to walk on your own? While pondering, a sports car slowly drove by her side, and it was on par with her at turtle speed. Its ill-intentioned tone was clearly mocking her. Turning his head, he saw a man sitting on the red Ferrari. From his memory, he learned that this was the young master of the Ji family, Ji Liwei. He was known for his sharp tongues and sharp tongues. Unfortunately, Pei Shu spilled a glass of red wine on his head at a party, causing him to lose face. He took off his sunglasses with one hand and looked disdainfully at the suitcase beside her. "Tsk tsk tsk, look how I forgot. You're not Miss Pei anymore." Pei Shu ignored him and gave him a determined glance. "Remember to walk around the water later, otherwise you will have bad luck." Neurosis. Who is happy to be called unlucky? Ji Liwei only thought that she was stimulated crazy and would bite anyone. She was too lazy to listen to her bullshit, so she stepped on the gas and the car rushed out. "Go eat the exhaust gas." Pei Shu raised her eyebrows. Even though she didn't believe him, she happened to wash his mouth. Ji Liwei only felt unlucky. He had originally invited his brothers to play, but it was all because of this damn woman. She was so unlucky that she ruined her good mood. No wonder she was kicked out of the house. With this thought in mind, he vented all his anger on the accelerator. The excessive speed stimulated his adrenaline, and the pleasure made him feel much better. However, when she saw the sign of the bridge ahead in no time, her heart still thumped, and then she self-deprecatingly smiled. How could such a foolish thing be? She said that she would be unlucky, and he didn't believe it. With an increased force under his feet, he rushed towards the bridge with two loud roars. In the blink of an eye, the car drove over the bridge and there was nothing wrong with it. He knew, damn it, how to deal with Pei Shu the next time he sees her again. Shwa, a huge water column rushed out directly from the side and accurately rushed into the open car window, pouring a refreshing chill on Ji Liwei. The sprinkler driver was watering the plants on the green belt when suddenly Ferrari rushed over. He didn't even care about anything else and immediately got off the car to apologize. At this point, Ferrari has become a bathtub, and he can't even afford to sell it to him. "Sorry sir, I really didn't see any cars coming from behind." Ji Liwei, with a dark face, silently raised his eyes and stared at the words, "drying water cart." This is his mother water. On the other side, Pei Shu dragged her suitcase and followed her memory to find the only convenience store. With her legs weak and her stomach hungry, she sat on a stool at the door and didn't want to move. This body is simply too weak, it's only a few steps away, it's almost her old age. "Hello, our location is only available to customers." The faint sound of reminders came from around her, and Pei Shu's head changed direction as she lay on the table, only to see the convenience store staff beside her, as well as the undisclosed disgust in her eyes. It seems that the reputation of the original owner has reached the level of street mice and everyone is shouting and fighting. Who said I won't buy anything anymore? Pei Shu used the remaining 23.5 cents on her phone to buy a loaf of bread and wolfed it down without paying any attention to the salesperson behind her recording her back. "It's just that my body is too hungry. Due to work and excessive pressure, the original owner has developed anorexia and hasn't had a full meal for countless years. In addition, with just one consumption, Pei Shu only felt that if she didn't eat again, she would definitely become the first demon to starve to death. Pei Shu. Ji Liwei gritted his teeth and glared at her fiercely, as if he was about to eat her. Why are you breaking your tongue? New books, new books, new books, support and support. Just aim for excitement, no brain, no ideas, just one word of excitement is enough. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The entire network is filled with black fans. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The entire network is filled with black fans. Pei Shu swallowed the last bite of bread with force, which was a bit choking without water. Then he turned around and took a bottle of water from the cashier. Here's the money. Her tone was taken for granted, and Ji Liwei took out his wallet and handed over a red ticket. It wasn't until the salesperson changed money and he habitually wanted to wave his hand that his mind, which had been submerged in water, reacted. Why should I buy you water? Pei Shu drank half a bottle in one breath before feeling much better. She raised her eyebrows to look at him and raised the water bottle in her hand. It's late, I've already drunk, she said. He also casually took the change that the salesperson wanted to hand over, but was met with the latter's unwilling glare. Usually, these changes are not something that even young masters and ladies would not ask for, and they would all be their tips. It's hard to imagine that since Pei Shu was so shameless, she snatched them directly and quickly stuffed them into her own pocket. I have received your money and will give you a divination. Ji Liwei's eyes twitched, and a smile filled the corner of his mouth. Oh, why, are you going to set up a stall on the overpass? Pei Shu ignored his strange emotions and sat beside the suitcase, silently speaking as she looked at his face. You almost drowned when you were 13, and a relationship ended at the age of 16. You should have lost some money a while ago, and the estimated amount is quite large, she said as she shook it off one by one. Ji Liwei's eyes were about to burst out. Everything else could be investigated, except for the fact that she almost drowned at the age of 13, which she could never have known. At that time, I was on vacation abroad with my older brother, and the two of us had a disagreement. He plunged into the sea and had a cramp in his leg, but it was only when my older brother discovered it that he was rescued. Both of us were very scared and agreed not to tell our parents. How could she know this? Big brother can't say it. Are you investigating me? Do you think I have this ability? Considering her various backgrounds, she is still being kicked out of the house now. If she really had the ability to investigate their family, she wouldn't be like this now. So how do you know? Of course it is. Look at your face, it's all written clearly on your face. Impossible, this is too absurd. Although Ji Liwei is a playboy, he is also an atheist who grows up in the spring breeze. Using the excuse of looking at someone's appearance to deceive him, really treating him like someone else has a lot of money. This is just to prove to you that I told you to send you a hexagram. Your grandmother should be in danger, but she won't die. You should go back and take a look now, there should be time. What the hell are you talking about? I never said not to hit women. Ji Liwei was really angry, put away his carefree demeanor, and his anger was hard to conceal. You can say anything, but you can't involve your family, especially his grandmother. When he was a child, his parents were busy, and he and his brother have always been raised by his grandmother, and their relationship is particularly deep. Anyway, I'll do my divination. Believe it or not, go find her under the jujube tree. Jujube tree. That was planted by his deceased grandfather himself in the courtyard for his grandmother, which made him a little worried. He will go back and see whether it is true or not. If you talk nonsense, you're done. Ji Liwei put down a fierce threat and quickly ran towards the black car on the roadside, disappearing from sight. A golden light of merit, the size of a grain of rice, fell into Pei Shu's body, nourishing her soul. Still too few. At the same time, the internet has exploded again due to the video just taken by the salesperson. Pei Shu was kicked out of the house. Current world report. Pei Shu goes to the streets. Pei Shu gnaws on bread. The first few Weibo headlines were almost all occupied by Pei Shu alone, and the comments below were surprisingly consistent, all trampled on. Okay, let's see who the heavens have spared. Today, all of this is Pei Shu's fault. Agree, I just hope the neck won't give this woman any more heat. Let her get out of the entertainment industry and out of the public eye. Seeing her unhappy, I'm thrilled. One person blood book Pei Shu, get out of the entertainment industry and prohibit her from occupying public resources again. Agree upstairs. Let's not give her any heat. Yes, complain about the neck and ask them to withdraw. The trend of netizens is almost one-sided, with numerous complaints forcing Weibo to revoke all the hot headlines hanging on the webpage. At this moment, some netizens were surprised to find that Shenhua Entertainment also released a notice. Due to Ms. Pei Shu's failure to comply with the terms of the contract during her cooperation with our company, as a public figure, we deeply apologize for any negative impact caused to the outside world. At the same time, our company has decided to terminate our cooperation with Ms. Pei Shu, and the subsequent matters have been handed over to the lawyer for handling. We kindly request the supervision of our fans and friends. Alright now, there's no need to see Ms. Pei again. She can't be a demon anymore. Happy. Support Shenhua. Shenhua is so nice. Please choose artists in the future and keep your eyes open. Don't let a mouse dung spoil the whole pot of porridge. You don't understand upstairs. At that time, they were the daughters of the Pei family, and capitalists were their backers. How could they not accept the prosperous people? That's right, it's okay. God has eyes, and now we Zairukin have finally gotten rid of this vampire. Yes, and our brother has finally escaped the clutches of that woman. The richness of chocolate spread across her tongue, and the coolness made Pei Shu squint her eyes comfortably. Unfortunately, this beautiful atmosphere was shattered by a hurried bell. The ringing phone displayed that the caller was Mi Jie, the original owner's agent, or more precisely, the agent arranged by Pei Ruqin for her. Hello, Pei Shu, the company has officially notified you of the termination of the contract. The termination documents have been sent to your email, and several partners' liquidated damages have also been sent to you. Please compensate as soon as possible. I can't wait to see these interlocking rings. I have severed ties with the Pei family and have no money. The person on the other end of the receiver sneered. Of course, she knew she didn't have money, and that was the last step she was waiting for. I have a contract here that can solve your urgent need. How about it? The movie, going to see, you should leave it to your other artists. I'm not enjoying it. Their thoughts can be easily understood by Pei Shu, either by stepping her into the mud or by forcing her to death, nothing more than these two. Oh, I'm thinking for your sake. After all, what do you want to pay back the 5 or 6 million yuan penalty for breach of contract? Just listen to me obediently, and you'll have a glimmer of hope. After all, you don't want to go to jail either. Even through the phone, one can feel Mi Jie's victory in hand. After all, this inexperienced and easy-to-deceive village girl will obediently obey with a little intimidation. Now, she is helpless and throws an olive branch herself. She will definitely seize this life-saving straw. However, this time she will be disappointed. Looking back at Miss Me from her memory, Pei Shu laughed wildly and said, Miss Me, I believe you don't want your husband to know that his son, whom he has loved for so many years, is his good brother. Before waiting to speak over there, Pei Shu threw another heavy bomb and said, and your relationship with Director Huang, those hotels, information, and photos. I don't know what netizens would say if they saw them. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Breaking Money is Destiny. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Breaking Money is Destiny. Mi Jie and Huang Dao have met each other before, and each time they are perfunctory through negotiations for cooperation. However, Pei Shu can tell the difference from their faces. And these pieces of evidence were all left by Miss Me herself, in order to threaten Director Huang in the future. Miss Me's husband is really kind to her, delivering food and vegetables every 3 to 5 days. Because Miss Me is busy with work, her husband almost takes care of all the household affairs, and the original owner has not only met her husband once. His husband's face said he doesn't have any children, but he has a son with me Jie. This is really a big joke. What do you want? Miss Me almost gritted her teeth, and after 1,000 calculations, she never expected that this village girl would even save her own hand. I didn't make any fundamental mistakes. Do you think it's reasonable for you to terminate the contract with me and require me to pay a penalty for breach of contract? The other end paused for a long time, with only heavy breathing. After half a day of suppressing his voice, he said, "Okay, I will talk to the company." Well, there's also the penalty for those partners' breach of contract. I remember I only received a cover advertisement for spicy noodles after all, and I finished shooting it early. I don't know which partner I'm compensating for. What do you know? You know there's only one, but we still have a potential partner to negotiate with you later on. Is that right? Hee. Pei Shu's tone couldn't detect any emotions, indifferent and tense. Her words made the person across from the receiver burst into a cold sweat. I believe the tax bureau will be very interested in the hard drive you hid in the desk hole. Pei Shu, don't go too far. The furious Mi Jie did not affect Pei Shu at all. In the confrontation between the two, one of them was the first to defeat. 200,000 yuan, we have already negotiated with Hardcore Candy for you. You will have to compensate for this breach of contract, which is already our biggest concession. We advise you to be sensible. Although I don't know why Pei Shu knew all this, for the sake of the company, she must first stabilize the situation, and then, she has some means to prevent her from speaking again. Well, draft a new contract and send it to me. This wealth is something she must scatter, and it is indeed true that Pei Shu will not evade it. Miss Me quickly sent a new document over, and the convenience store happened to have a printer. She printed it out, signed it, took a photo, and sent it over. It has to be said that mobile phones in this era are indeed user-friendly, even better than the teleportation notes in the demon world. Pei Shu took away the phone that the salesperson was still trying to take a photo of, flipped her fingers, and easily deleted what she had just taken. Why are you grabbing my phone? Give it back to me. The infuriated shop assistant rushed over and was about to grab it. Unexpectedly, Pei Shu just lightly touched her forehead, and she stopped completely. Then, as if under control, she frantically bowed and apologized in Pei Shu's direction. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have secretly filmed you and uploaded your video online. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have seen people with colored glasses. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoken ill of you and spread rumors about you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have secretly filmed you. With just a few words, the small shop assistant apologized while bowing, repeatedly saying back and forth. The other shop assistant couldn't even pull, showing a frightened expression. And Pei Shu was in a good mood, holding the salesperson's phone and recording a short video for her. Then she posted it on all her social circles and all the apps she could post. Well, treating someone in their own way is not considered revenge. Pei, Miss Pei, me, her. This was like being possessed by evil, which really scared the other clerk and made him shudder when he spoke. Pei Shu put her phone back on the counter and looked at the person apologizing, looking very satisfied. Just give it half an hour, I believe she can reflect on her mistakes. After speaking, Pei Shu continued to step onto the road outside with her small suitcase. Yingxiang Garden, looking at the villa area with a sense of time, the terrain is not very large, but more of a sense of time and nostalgia. Before the black car could even come to a steady stop, the people in the car eagerly opened the door and ran towards Building 06. Grandma! Where are you? There was no figure in the front yard, and there was no response in the room. Ji Liwei's heart thumped as fear spread throughout her body. By the way, jujube tree. He remembered Pei Shu's words and ran straight to the backyard. 2 ropes were tied in the backyard, hanging large sheets, and finally I walked around to see Mrs. Ji lying under the tree with her eyes tightly closed. Ji Liwei, whose mind was blank, quickly took out his phone and shook his hand, tapping on his big brother's number. I didn't care about the connection and kept muttering in my mouth, what to do. Liwei, what's going on? Brother. Grandma has fainted. She fell under a tree. What should we do? Grandma can't have any trouble, she can't leave. The person on the other end was also surprised when they heard the news, but he remained much calmer than Ji Liwei. Don't panic, I'll call Dr. Chiao right away. You keep an eye on Grandma, he said. 3 hours later, the door to the operating room finally opened and Grandma Ji, who was lying on the hospital bed with an oxygen mask, was pushed out. Dr. Chiao, how is my grandmother? How was the surgery? Dr. Chiao showed a relaxed expression on his face and comforted them. Don't worry, the surgery was very successful and discovered in a timely manner. The tumor in the brain was very small, and thanks to the old lady's fainting, we were able to detect and treat it in time. As long as the anesthesia passes, the old lady can wake up. Thank you, Dr. Chiao. Thank goodness, our ancestors bless us. Ji Fu and Ji Mu were grateful for a moment, but only Ji Dai noticed his foolish younger brother with an incredulous expression on his face. What's with this expression? By the way, you made a big contribution to Grandma's incident this time. It's hard to imagine if Grandma Ji had been unconscious for a long time without anyone noticing, or if she had been unconscious for a while before waking up, and the brain tumor could not be detected. Either outcome would be unacceptable to them. Brother, I didn't discover it. The 3 members of the Ji family looked at Ji Liwei with confusion on their faces, not quite sure what he meant. It's the kidnapped daughter of the Pei family. Later, Ji Liwei told her family exactly what happened today, including what she said about him almost drowning at the age of 13 and her grandmother. You said this was all calculated by her looking at your face. Ji Liwei looked at his brother with a strange expression and said, Brother, have you ever said that I almost drowned? He was crazy when he brought up this matter, and of course Ji Liye shook his head. That's it, you didn't say anything, I didn't say anything, she just knew. Alright, you 2 little bunnies, you're hiding such a big thing from me. You're really going to anger me. Ji Mu twisted one hand and one ear, causing the 2 of them to grin and scream in pain. Alright, stop making trouble. Ji's father spoke up, and Ji's mother temporarily let the 2 of them go, only waiting to go back and deal with them. That girl from the Pei family is probably someone with skills. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The first person to scare ghosts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The first person to scare ghosts. Roll on, what are you talking nonsense about? What kind of ghosts and monsters? What's wrong with you? The middle-aged woman tugged at her throat with a terrifying blush on her face, which made Pei Shu across from her feel a little scared. Instead, she calmly looked at her. The old man beside her. When your father was cremated, there was a hole in the pocket on the left collar of the shroud he was wearing. The woman's swearing words stuck in her throat, causing her to be completely shocked. The shroud she bought when her father died did indeed have water stuck in the left pocket, and a hole was made when it was burned. Before she could ask, Pei Shu continued, your dad said you've been looking for his passbook and asked me to tell you where he left it. However, as an exchange, the house in the neighborhood next to you wants me to stay for a month. Lu Yongfang's mouth opened and her words stuttered. Do you really know where my dad's passbook is? Her father had a sudden heart attack and left too suddenly. The passbook contained all his retirement salary and some pocket money given to him by his sisters on a daily basis. But with such a small passbook, they flipped through the old house and couldn't find it. Well, your dad said it was placed in your childhood hide-and-seek jar, covered in a plastic bag, so you couldn't find it. He also said that there was a pair of your mother's gold earrings in that box, and he gave it to you. He asked you not to tell your sisters, but to use it as my 1-month rent. Who would have thought that Lu Yongfang would cry as soon as she listened, tears streaming down her face. The childhood hide-and-seek jar had long been useless and piled up in the backyard. They were all treated like trash. Who would have thought it would be there? There are also pairs of gold earrings that are her mother's belongings, but they have not been found yet. It turns out that her father put them together. At this moment, she choked up and said to her surroundings, "Dad, why did you just leave without saying a word?" The old man beside her also had tears in his eyes, but he was already a soul and couldn't even touch his own daughter's head. Your father said that among these children, you are the only one who is most sorry for you. As the eldest, you have suffered too much. It's better for him to leave like this, so as not to burden you in the future. Let's not be sad anymore, live a good life in the future, and enjoy yourself more as you get older. At this moment, Lu Yongfang couldn't believe anything more. His gaze at Pei Shu was as sincere as that of a living immortal. "Master, can you ask my dad what he still needs below? I'll burn it for him. This old man has been frugal all his life, and there aren't many good clothes." "No need," he said. He received all the clothes and paper money you used to burn for him, but he couldn't even put them on. The only concern was for you, and he hoped you were all well. After listening to Pei Shu's words, Lu Yongfang wiped away her tears and nodded, "Okay, master. Since it's my dad who said it, then you can rest assured to stay at my house." Lu Yongfang's actions were quick, and the house she had planned to bring her father over and renovate before was ready. However, she didn't wait for the old man to come and live. She waited for the news of his death, and there was furniture and even a brand new quilt inside. She could just move in with her bag. After settling down Pei Shu, she hurried to the old house. "One reason is that I'm afraid it might be troublesome if someone takes my things or loses them later. Secondly, I naturally need to see if what this girl is saying is true." At this moment, Pei Shu had just taken a shower and washed away all the sticky sweat and dust from her body. Without her magic, it would be troublesome. If she had used a dust removal technique before, it would have solved all the problems. Unlike now, after walking for over an hour, my legs are almost broken and I am completely paralyzed on the sofa. However, it has to be said that this sofa is very soft. Another golden light of merit fell into her body, and it seems that Lu Yongfang has found what her father left behind. "Master, thank you very much." The old man drifted in the living room at some point and thanked her. Pei Shu waved her hand and said, "Everyone needs what they need. Since you have already wished, hurry up and reincarnate. This world is not where you should stay." Yes, yes, what the heavenly master said is. Who knew that the old man had just finished saying these words, as if stepping on Pei Shu's tail. She was completely flustered and grinned as if she wanted to eat ghosts. "I'm not a damn heavenly master. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll pull out your tongue." The old man didn't expect that being a ghost could still be a threat to personal safety. He was so scared that he quickly apologized and then quickly ran away. "Mom, someone is threatening ghost life. You're so scared. Hurry up and run to the underworld to hide." Ding ding. A text message came from the phone. "Ms. Pei Shu, you have compensated our company with a total penalty of 200,000 yuan for breach of contract. Please settle the payment before September 1st, otherwise our company will be handed over to the Judicial Department for compulsory enforcement. See City Happy Candy Company, Ltd. September." It's already July 13th today, which means there's only 1.5 months left. How should she earn 200,000? This body can only be used until junior high school graduation. As far as I know from memory, I can only do some work such as serving dishes and buying things. Every month, I have to work for 3 to 4,000 or 200,000, and I will definitely not earn it for more than a month. Is it difficult to return to your old profession? But the people here don't seem to believe this much anymore. A melodious bell rang, and her phone called. It was a string of unfamiliar numbers, as if this phone call would bring her good luck. Hello. Hello, are you Pei Shu? Listening to the excited voice, it's Ji Liwei whom I just met this morning. I am, your grandmother is out of danger, isn't she? The person over there was even more excited when it came to this. You're really amazing. It's really thanks to you this time. Otherwise, no matter what my grandmother said, I would thank you. You said, whatever you want, as long as our family can do it for you. When he spoke about the latter half of the sentence, he clearly felt a little guilty. He had originally planned to give some money to thank him, but his parents insisted on asking the master to show respect. But he's panicking. Who doesn't know about Pei Shu's current situation? If she says something about returning to the entertainment industry, the Pei family, or marrying into their family, would it really be difficult for her to handle it? Anyway, if he wants to marry, it's also his brother who will marry him. He will definitely not marry this woman. It's better to arrive earlier than earlier. Isn't it just dozing off and handing over the pillow? Pei Shu squinted her eyes. I happen to need your help with something. What's the matter? His drooling voice was indeed a bit loud, and he had already begun to silently calculate what words to use to refuse her later. Don't be nervous, I just wanted to ask you, is there any way I can earn 200,000 yuan in a month and a half? We don't know about this. What? What did you just say? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Entering the live room. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Entering the live room. Why are your ears not good at a young age? Ji Liwei is a bit incredulous. Is Pei Shu's request here? 200,000, not more than his monthly allowance. Any problem that can be solved with money is not a problem, and he can still make the decision to add an extra 200,000. I'll give it to you. Just give me your account and I'll transfer it directly to you. Okay, you transfer it to me, just treat it as if I borrowed it from you, and pay it back slowly. He didn't care about this little money at all. It's okay, there's no need to repay it. Just treat it as a gift from our family. No way, the hexagram I calculated for you before was that you gave me money. This is a rule, and I also have to live in the future, always having a means of making a living. Suddenly, Ji Liwei felt that Pei Shu's image had suddenly become taller. Not only did he feel that way, but the Ji family who were listening to him all the more felt that this was the true master. Are you still planning to return to the entertainment industry? Thinking of what the original owner did before, either to serve as a backdrop or to bring black material to draw heat and hatred, standing there as a humanoid background board, or as a sandbag. She's not stupid, why bother torturing herself? I still can't get the money. No, I'm not a masochist. The villain in Ji Liwei's heart is kneeling and bowing wildly to the sky. This sister is okay, and now she has self-awareness. He will definitely not scold her a few times next time we meet. So what do you know? Pei Shu thought for a moment, but still felt more at ease as she said, techniques, character testing, drawing symbols, and so on, that's all. Good guy, this is not even reliable at all. We just need to be a bit materialistic if there is a possibility of working. Although Pei Shu couldn't understand what he meant by materialism, she could also understand from his tone that none of this seemed to work right now. That's all I know. I can't say she's going to earn merit to repair her soul, right? Otherwise. On the other end of the receiver, another man's voice rang out, let the master live stream on our app. It's obvious that Ji Liwei's older brother Ji Liye spoke up, but Ji Liwei is very worried. Brother, don't be impulsive, don't be impulsive. If Pei Shu appears in our live streaming app, she can directly get down to your server. Believe it or not. Moreover, the Xuanxue anchor, this is too absurd. This is easy to handle. She doesn't need to show her face, just wear the banner of entertainment, and the company can arrange for the master to be released first. Who is Ji Liye? It's a businessman. Since he can bring up this matter, he definitely sees the benefits involved. Firstly, if she really calculates so well, the number of registered users in the live broadcast room will only increase and not decrease once her reputation is established. Secondly, if her identity is exposed and her reputation is good, it is easy to say that her reputation will not have any impact on their app, just say that they are also victims. In short, it is beneficial without harm. Pei Shu on the other end of the receiver naturally understood their words clearly. Live streaming has also been attended by the original owner in their memory, but it is all used as a backdrop, buy one get one free, and there is no need to speak as a background board. But with so many people watching this and a wide audience, it is undoubtedly a great place to earn merits, and there are customers everywhere. At the thought of this, Pei Shu's eyes lit up. Okay, then I'll go live streaming. Ji Liwei still had this confusion, I don't know how things developed like this, and his brother took the phone from his hand. Okay, Miss Pei, I will notify the company's personnel to connect with you later. However, considering your previous situation, I personally suggest that you do not show your face during the live broadcast temporarily. Our company's graphic designer can set a face code for your live broadcast room, do you think? Pei Shu thought about it too. Based on her current reputation of being a complete blacklist on the internet, she probably would be boycotted as soon as she showed her face. How could she still earn merit? Okay, you can arrange it over there. It has to be said that Ji Liwei's brother is very fast, and shortly after hanging up the phone, a staff member from Shunmei contacted her. Once she has applied for a live streaming account, she can log in directly, and the live streaming room is also set up to automatically recognize and mosaic the scanned face. Very humanized, mainly afraid of her collapse. Pointing in, Pei Shu glanced at the gift prices in this instant beauty live broadcast, ranging from 9 yuan to 9,999 yuan. Pei Shu thought for a moment and wrote the title of the live broadcast room clearly. Xuanxue Anchor, a gold ingot. A gold ingot is equivalent to 199 yuan in reality, it's simply worth it, it's cost-effective, and it's the best use of all. With a joyful click on the button to start the live broadcast, Pei Shu seemed to have seen numerous merits right in front of her. Half an hour later Pei Shu nodded her head and suddenly woke up. Her body had been tossing and turning for a long time today, exhausted to the point of falling asleep at some point. The main thing is that this live broadcast is too boring. There were only 8 people coming in, and on average, each person came in less than 2 seconds before running away. The great demon felt a bit depressed. In the past, when she went down the mountain, even a daughter might not be able to exchange her words. Now, it's like giving it away for nothing, but no one has come yet. So angry. Hey, I've discovered something. In Angua on the planet Lamper, there's actually someone claiming to be a mystic. What's going on? These years of books haven't been able to wash your mind clean. Ha ha ha. I was just about to leave when I was laughed at by the comments and screamed like a pig. I also think, and I'm also coding, wouldn't I just wait for some fool to fall for it, to scam money and run away, right? Pei Shu watched as words popped up below the screen, and from her memory, she knew that they were posted by the person watching the live broadcast. But what kind of nonsense is that? It's a scam. Is it possible for her, Pei Shu? That's right, at first glance, the anchor looks like a girl. Most likely, some card zodiac sign will give you a wave of water. Have you ever calculated for yourself? I just want to know if there will be any fools falling for it today. Ha ha ha. Want to know +1, what kind of thing is a card constellation? It even questions her head. She, the Supreme Fox Clan, a millennium-old demon, even if her soul is shattered, she can still calculate her ancestors for 18 generations. I never deceive people. Just before she finished speaking, the system on the public screen automatically flashed a message. Entertainment blogger, for entertainment only. Ha ha ha. I'm laughing to death. Is this the official slap on the face? This face is so hard to guard against, my head is about to laugh off, ha ha ha, save the screenshot. I can't laugh alone on such a funny thing. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room was instantly stirred up, although it was all mocking laughter. What could be done? She did indeed belong to the category of entertainment anchors. Dong dong. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Why is it not an entertainment anchor anymore? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Why is it not an entertainment anchor anymore? Master, master, are you at home? Upon hearing this voice, it was obvious that Lu Yongfang, whom she had not seen for long, had found her father's belongings. She was just curious about what she had come to do with her again. But I'm quite happy to hear the sound. With a click, Lu Yongfang opened the door and stood outside with many things in her hand, looking at Pei Shu with respect in her eyes. Master, you're really amazing. I found it as soon as I went, and you really helped me a lot. These are all snacks, and I'm thinking of you trying something new. Lu Yongfang made a special phone call to ask his daughter what young people like to eat, and went to buy a bunch of snacks that girls like. Thank you. Pei Shu took her things and looked at her hesitant expression, knowing that she must have something to do. Do you have anything to do with me? As soon as she asked, Lu Yongfang quickly took over the conversation and agreed, yes, yes, why don't we say you're a master? I just want to ask you something. 101 hexagrams, pay first and then calculate the hexagrams. 100. So much. Lu Yongfang was overjoyed and directly took out a respectful red ticket and handed it to Pei Shu. Master, it's like this. I would like you to calculate for my daughter. She is a recent graduate, but the overall environment is not good this year. She has been looking for a job for half a year but hasn't found a suitable one. Can you help her calculate her career? Do you have any photos? Yes, of course there is. Lu Yongfang said as she opened the photo album on her phone, which was filled with photos of her daughter, at least a few hundred. She should have two paths to choose from now. One is stable, but there won't be too many achievements, and the other is more challenging. Although the process is hard, it can have rich rewards. You let her choose for herself. If you want to be stable, go left, and if you want to challenge, go right. Lu Yongfang listened with great conviction and immediately took out his phone to make a phone call. Took a few beeps before connecting over there. Ling Lin has just interviewed several companies, and her voice is tired. I have been looking for a job for more than half a year. Either my major is not right, or my future prospects are bleak. Otherwise, my welfare benefits are not good, and in any case, I haven't found the one I want. She even fell into deep self-doubt at one point. Is it really that she is too picky? But she has put in so much effort and energy to learn things day and night, and she is willing to give up and not give up, so she has been working hard. Hello Mom, I'll be back soon. I estimate I'll be home in an hour. Mom didn't call to say that. Let me ask you, didn't you go for an interview today? How did it go? Do you have any suitable candidates? Well, I like people, but they don't necessarily want me. And, ding. Ding, the sound of two text message reminders echoed in her ears one before the other, and Ling Lin, who had a conditioned reflex, glanced at her. It was this one glance that almost made her scream. Mom! Mom! I passed the interview. I passed the interview. The two companies I like have both asked me to report on Monday. I'm so happy. Lu Yongfang was stunned for a moment, her eyebrows lit up with joy, and she exclaimed from the bottom of her heart that it was too spiritual. She quickly asked her to go home on the phone first. Master, thank you so much. No need, you gave the money. After finally seeing off Lu Yongfang, Pei Shu turned around and returned to the room. When she saw the shelf standing on the table, she remembered that she was still live streaming. The number of viewers displayed on the mobile page has increased to 35, and the barrage on the low screen is extremely lively. It sounds like an ant, right? The anchor just plays with the live broadcast, how can they still deceive people in reality? How do I feel like it's quite real? The tone of the phone call is quite real. Isn't it? Are you serious upstairs? It's been 3053 years, and you still believe this? It looks like there's a script, okay. I'm laughing to death, it's too fake. The blackmail service is slow, no delivery. My eyes have already seen through too much, this anchor is just trying to attract attention. Yes, I was originally an entertainment anchor. After speaking, I didn't forget to point to the title. Sincerity is the greatest skill. And just now I heard from the anchor that it's only 100 yuan to show to people. The Jin Yuan Bao in the live broadcast room costs 199 yuan. Why are you still making a price difference? Sniff slash, this food looks ugly, the platform draws 50%. This means that if she withdraws, she will receive just over 100, which is a very reasonable price. Just finished explaining, I didn't expect that suddenly many small gold ingot special effects fell on the screen, piled up into a small mountain, and then slowly disappeared. Hey, someone really cheated on Jin Yuan Bao and became the big culprit. Little Rain's meow, what aspect do you want to calculate? As soon as she finished speaking, the cat named Xiaoyu sent a request to connect. Pei Shu agreed and several small screens suddenly appeared on the screen, one of which featured a young girl. Tang Yu has recently had an argument with her boyfriend and is in a cold war. She is feeling down and usually has her own cat with her. However, Damao has been searching for her for several days and has been exhausted for a while. Accidentally, the mobile app pushed her to pop up this live broadcast, and when she clicked in, she happened to hear the anchor divining for outsiders. A sudden thought flashed through my mind. Why don't I calculate it myself? I've been really unlucky lately, and it's not expensive either. She still has 200 yuan. A comforting gesture, a little hand, and Jin Yuan Bao was sent out. I want to calculate my cat. It ran out and I searched for several days but couldn't find it. Pei Shu's eyes were fixed on the obedient white cat next to her, and she silently sighed. It's right at your home. Pei Shu didn't finish her words when Tang Yu over there chuckled and shook his head, how could it be? If it's at home, why doesn't it come out? My big hair is the most clingy to me, and if I know I'm at home, I won't leave my side for a moment. It's not about hugging or kissing. The appearance of you saying something wrong has caused other netizens to stir up trouble on the public screen. Let me just say it, everything is a script. Ha ha ha, this slap on the face is coming quickly, real entertainment anchor, ha ha ha, can this kind of money be refunded? Isn't it pure fraud? That's right, otherwise let's report it. Just report it. Pei Shu didn't pay any attention to the noisy netizens and asked the cat of the light rain again. You should have heard your cat barking frequently at night lately. A hint of surprise appeared on Tang Yu's round face when he mentioned it, and then he thought of something else. He regained peace and said, yes, I can always hear cats chirping at night, but there are also cats near our house, and there are also many stray cats in the community. But it shouldn't be my cat. If it comes back, it will definitely come and post with me. Anyway, she just doesn't believe that Damao will be at home. It's right under your bed, you can see for yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Damao's Tragedy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Damao's Tragedy. Tang Yu was skeptical, but let's see why it didn't matter. With such a mindset, he walked into the bedroom with his phone in hand. Just as a bunch of fans praised the cleanliness and tidiness of the little sister's room on the public screen. Tang Yu lifted the sheets and bent down to see a black box under the bed. Due to being entirely, Tang Yu still relied on a clothes drying pole to get out. A box about the size of a football, wrapped in thick yellow tape, with only a little black plastic bag exposed, leaning more towards the ball. Just as she was holding this thing, she smelled a faint odor and her heart began to sink. Ignoring his phone, he grabbed the eyebrow knife from the dressing table and frantically scratched the box, time and time again. The deeper it peels off, the stronger the foul smell becomes. The black plastic bag cuts open and inside is a shoe box, with mottled blood on it already solidified. Tang Yu's tears fell uncontrollably, her hands trembling. The small box made her dare not open it. Biting her teeth, she still opened it. A stinky and rotten cat curled up in an extremely strange position inside the box, its bones broken, its snow-white fur stained red with blood, solidified and turned black. Ah! Big hair! Big hair! My big hair! Ah! On the other end of the screen, although they only saw the plastic sound coming from the ceiling and the earpiece, they could also know that the box was being opened. But as the mournful cries came, everyone knew what had happened, and for a moment, words of comfort flashed across the public screen. About a minute later, Tang Yu appeared on the screen again, with red crying eyes, uncontrollable tears, and mixed emotions of anger and sorrow. At this moment, no one doubted that she was acting. "Master, please help me calculate who killed my big hair. I want to avenge my big hair." As soon as she finished speaking, Pei Shu didn't have time to refuse, and the golden ingot special effect flashed on the screen again. "You don't need to give it, this doesn't matter. Actually, you already know who did it in your heart, but you don't want to believe it. This is your home. Who else can come into contact with this cat besides you?" The person on the other side of the screen cried and laughed, then suddenly slapped themselves hard, and their fair cheeks immediately turned red. "Yes, it's me who's stupid. Apart from my boyfriend Chen Hao, who has the key to my house, there's no one else." Tang Yu's tears couldn't be wiped away, and regret was spreading. "I should have broken up with him since he said he didn't like Demao. I didn't expect my hesitation to cause my Demao to die a tragic death. They have argued over the cat more than once or twice. Chen Hao hates small animals very much, and the dogs on the roadside will be kicked when they meet him. He has always insisted on letting her throw or sell the cat. This argument was also due to Demao. Cats themselves are very vengeful animals. If they treat Demao badly, Demao will retaliate back. This time, it was because Demao pulled Baba into his shoes, and now Chen Hao can't bear it anymore. Either choose him or choose the cat. I raised Demao bit by bit, he's like my family. How could I possibly abandon him? Of course I chose Demao, but I didn't expect him to have such a strong sense of revenge. I hate him so much." At this point, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room has risen to over 120, and the barrage on the public screen jumps quickly. The abuse of small animals has made everyone angry, but more importantly, there is still concern for Tang Yu. "Oh my God, what kind of person is this? It's so terrifying, the cat is so pitiful. This person is so twisted. How could such a person have a girlfriend? Please keep your eyes open when looking for a man, little sister, why don't you report it to the police? Most cat abusers have psychological problems, so you need to protect yourself." Yes, protecting oneself is true. How can I report it to the police? There is no direct evidence to prove that it was her boyfriend who did it. Yes, even if there is evidence, at most criticize and educate him. Will it still make him pay for his life? Yes, there is no evidence to prove that relying solely on her words is useless. Tang Yu even feels a bit hopeless. I will continue to be affected by the chaos, and since you have brushed the gold ingot, let me say another word. Upon seeing the anchor say this, Tang Yu immediately wiped away his tears and sat up respectfully. "Master, please speak up. What you are currently experiencing is a peach blossom disaster. It hurts to be sad and physically injured. The best strategy is to leave as soon as possible, and you cannot sleep at your own home tonight, otherwise something will happen. Upon hearing these words, Tang Yu nodded like pounding garlic and immediately agreed, I'm taking Demao to the pet cemetery to bury him. I'll sleep in the hotel at night and never come back. What will happen? Is it difficult for that man to come back? It's possible. Didn't the little sister say that the man has her house key? Then it's better to listen to the anchor and not stay at home. Finding a hotel is safer than staying at home. There is surveillance in my living room, and it has been installed for the past few days. I'm just afraid that Demao will come back and I don't know. I'll check the surveillance later tonight. Squat for a follow. Up. I want it to squat, 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 Tang Yu looked at Pei Shu again. Although it was a big mosaic, she was still very serious. Master, can I still come and connect tonight? Sure. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. After thanking him, Tang Yu quickly cut off the connection and went to place his poor Demao. In a place they couldn't see, a white cat crawled out from one end of the screen before hanging up and jumped lightly onto Pei Shu's body. The white fur rubbed against her again and again. Pei Shu rubbed its small head, and a little white light overflowed from her fingertips and fell into the cat's soul, flashing away. Let's go, he said lightly, patting slightly. Demao's cat's soul meowed at her twice, smiled, and then rushed out of the window. The netizens watching the live broadcast didn't even notice what she was doing. Even if they did, they only assumed that she was talking to Tang Yu, who had just gone offline. But all of a sudden, the big guy seems to have a different view of this entertainment anchor. If it's not a script, then there's really something to it. Anchor, what we're saying is, do you really understand metaphysics? Are you talking nonsense? It's like asking a melon seller if your watermelon is sweet, will he say it's not sweet? Hey, I don't think so. That young lady didn't seem to be acting just now. Who knows, there are all kinds of monsters and monsters in live streaming now. The anchor has said that she is an entertainment anchor. If you believe it, believe it. If you don't believe it, treat it as entertainment. There's no such thing as talking. As the debate on the public screen started again, a special effect of Jin Yuanbao floated up on the screen. A person named Qingfeng Mingyue directly applied for a connection. Pei Shu just agreed, and an enlarged, panicked man's frightened face almost hit the screen. Can you see ghosts? End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Small Hammer 40. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Small Hammer 40. Due to his father's work, Yu Xiangfeng's family moved to an older community in Sea City because the rent was cheap. But after moving in, something strange happened. One night, while sleeping soundly, he was inexplicably awakened by a burst of crying from a woman. He opened his eyes in a daze and followed the crying all the way, only to see a woman squatting on the balcony crying sadly. He was just about to comfort her when he suddenly realized that this was on the 6th floor, the top floor. How could a woman run to his balcony and cry in the middle of the night? At this moment, the woman turned her face while sobbing, as if in a slow-motion movie. Yu Xiangfeng was extremely scared, but he seemed to be frozen and unable to move. In the end, he lost his intuition. That woman has no face, her face seems to be covered by a stone. He swallowed in fear and let out a thud, making everyone present feel his fear. Have you watched too many horror movies? Have you had hallucinations? Yeah, and you're still fine, don't think so. It's also possible that some mental fantasies have arisen due to the recent increase in stress in life. Netizens are actively comforting him. After all, the theory of ghosts and gods is too mystical. No, you don't know. Although I'm fine, she's getting on with me. Really, I always hear her cry. I'm going crazy, I'm really going crazy. I can't stand it anymore. Yu Xiangfeng's eyes were red, and he was really going to collapse. He had told his parents about it, but they had never heard him or believed his nonsense. They all said he was playing games every day and was foolish and mentally deranged. He also thought about sleeping in the living room, but no matter where it was, the sound of crying seemed to linger in his ears. "Do you have a hammer at home?" Pei Shu suddenly spoke up, causing the person on the other side who was in a state of collapse to lift her head. Although she had some doubts about why she asked this, she still nodded honestly. Take it, go to the balcony." Yu Xiangfeng was holding a hammer in one hand and a phone in the other, patting and heading towards the balcony. "Master, why not, is she here?" This balcony was the place where he first saw the female ghost, and since then he has been very resistant to it, almost never stepping on it. "I don't know why, the sun is high and it's inexplicably cool here." "Move the washing machine away and smash it against the cement." The washing machine is placed in a corner of the balcony, with a cement cushion underneath, as if it has been specially made waterproof. "Are you really going to smash it?" Yu Xiangfeng hesitated a bit. After all, this is the landlord's house, and if it's smashed, they will probably have to pay for it, and he himself will have to suffer a beating. "Smash it, I guarantee you're okay." Yu Xiangfeng gritted his teeth and secretly clenched the hammer on his handle. Despite being scolded by female ghosts, he was still afraid of having more female ghosts. If he continued like this, he would really go crazy. "Okay, I'll smash it." After placing the phone and moving the washing machine, Yu Xiangfeng swung a hammer and knocked it down. Bang 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 bang. Bang bang bang, he swung it several times, causing the otaku little dog's hands to numb. The cement finally cracked a few cracks, making him gasp for breath. "I hit it in front of your left foot." "Okay." Biting his teeth, Yu Xiangfeng followed Pei Shu's instructions and smashed in that direction. With a swift movement, a piece of cement ground was finally smashed off amidst the scattered rubble, revealing a thin-skinned finger, similar to the kind of zombie in the game. Yu Xiangfeng was so scared that he fell to the ground and grabbed his phone. "Big Master, is that one, isn't it? I'll go, smash something out. Is it a corpse? Is it? My mom, yes, definitely yes, that shape must be a human finger. Murder case, I'm so scared. Call the police, yes, call the police quickly." Reported to the police asked which community and building it is. "Calm down, let me know your home address first. Songin Community, Building 8, 6th floor, 601. Thank you, thank you." After listening to Pei Shu's words, Yu Xiangfeng mechanically reported his home location. Now, his mind was in a daze and he didn't know what to do. The murder case was a major one, and the police quickly arrived at his house and sealed off the scene. Yu's father and mother were not on duty, so they hurried home and watched with horror. "Who dares to believe that I live under the same roof with a corpse every day? We have routine questions, all you need to do is answer truthfully." Yu's father was the first to calm his mind and answer the detective's question in front of him. Yes, we must know everything and speak without hesitation. "Who first discovered the crime scene?" Yu Xiangfeng silently raised his hand and said, "It's me." "How did you discover it?" Later, Yu Xiangfeng truthfully told the whole story of encountering ghosts during today's live broadcast. At this moment, the live broadcast room was still passionately discussing this matter, with everyone chattering incessantly and speculating about who the culprit might be. Some even recorded the entire process and posted it on social media, directly causing Pei Shu's live broadcast room to have over 1,000 viewers, with a rapid increase in followers. Of course, Captain Wu Faji of the Criminal Investigation Bureau would not believe a broadcaster to calculate that there is a person buried here. It is simply absurd. It can only be said that either a blind cat meets a dead mouse, or all of this is closely related to the broadcaster. We need to conduct a detailed investigation. During this gap, Pei Shu had already eaten half of the snacks sent by Lu Yongfang. It can only be said that the food here is really delicious. Pork chop, beef jerky, chicken feet, duck neck, all delicious, and those dried fruits are also pretty good. Finally found a decent place here. Anchor, are you eating? Wow, wipe, the anchor is so strong. He can even eat something. I thought of the mixture in the broken stone just now, and I laughed. Don't describe it, I finally managed to suppress it. You're still talking. Her live broadcast room was almost sealed off, but fortunately, the body had been mixed with cement and mixed with black waterproof cloth. The live broadcast system couldn't recognize it, so she cut off the connection. However, there are still quick screenshots with eye problems, so why bother? Ask yourself to suffer. The sky had gradually darkened, and Pei Shu stretched lazily. She had been sitting for the whole afternoon. Just before she was ready to broadcast, Xiaoyu's cat sent another request to connect. After connecting, Tang Yu appeared with swollen eyes, looking at the environment behind him, which hotel should be located. Master, I have already buried Demao. Didn't you tell me not to go home before? I have opened a hotel outside now. What's going on? Tang Yu smiled awkwardly over there and said, didn't netizens say they were going to squat for a follow-up? I happen to happen, and being alone is also a bit scared. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Happy Chicken Eating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Happy Chicken Eating. Chen Hao has been feeling particularly happy lately. That damn cat has finally been killed by him. He thought it would be lawless with Tang Yu's protection, and even dared to defecate in his shoes. With that step, the mournful scream really made him vent his anger, but with a gentle force, the cat's head sank in. But it hasn't died yet, and lying on the ground, it can only gasp weakly, constantly wanting to crawl outside. Laughing to death, do you really think you're some kind of cat owner? He wants it to know who the master is. Step by step, he fiercely stepped on the weak cat's body, unable to resist. Its bones were almost broken, its internal organs were damaged, and blood flowed out of its mouth, staining its fur red. After venting his anger, Chen Hao realized that the floor was dirty. He frowned in disgust and casually found a shoebox, stuffing the cat inside. He was afraid that Tang Yu would come back and see him, so he wrapped it in a thick layer of plastic bag and tape and kicked it under the bed, thinking of taking it out later and throwing it away. Start by wiping the floor clean. I just didn't expect Tang Yu to come back so quickly that he forgot about the package later on. He just casually said something. If a beast is lost, it will be lost. Who knew Tang Yu would explode and even break up with him over a beast? He's really crazy. In the live broadcast room, Tang Yu's incident was also popularized by netizens who had been squatting for a long time. Everyone suddenly became interested, and with the previous case, they all wanted to know what would happen tonight. Pei Shu also wants to know. It's still early, I'll eat something first. If you're afraid, talk to them first. After finishing speaking, the anchor with a mosaic face stood up, but without the anchor, the people in the live broadcast room were also in high spirits. The surveillance video on Tang Yu's other phone kept facing the camera. Although empty, everyone is eagerly anticipating something. I can't really blame her. The chicken downstairs is so delicious that it has already passed through several floors. The taste was like a hook, pulling Pei Shu's nose and heading towards a shop. Oh, girl, the new resident. What do you want to eat? We have fried rice, set rice, fried noodles and fried powder, come in and have a look. The landlady stood at the door soliciting customers with a very enthusiastic attitude, but the effect was not very good. It was time for dinner, and the nearby shops were already fully booked. Their family only had a few people eating. Pei Shu's nose twitched, and the fragrance was the same as what the guests at the table were eating. "Boss, I want the one he ate." "Okay, this is our signature yellow braised chicken. After eating it for a while, why don't you just sit down, girl?" said the shopkeeper with a smile to the kitchen staff, "one part of our signature yellow braised chicken." It wasn't until 3 large clay pots were placed in front of Pei Shu that she was satisfied and let out a burp. It was so delicious. She has decided to come and eat this chicken every day in the future. "How much does the boss cost?" "Little girl, are you eating well? You have a really good appetite. There's a total of 105 yuan. If I touch it for you, I'll give you 100 yuan. Fortunately, Lu Yongfang gave her a 100 yuan bill in the afternoon, otherwise she wouldn't be able to afford to eat the king's meal. It seems that she needs to work hard to earn more money and live a good life of eating chicken every day in the future. "Where, boss, it's because you guys made it so delicious. It's the best chicken I've ever tasted." The landlady smiled with a hint of melancholy and said, "If you like it, you can come and eat a few more times. We may not do it next month." They are also really depressed. Her man's craftsmanship can be said to be one of the best. Originally, both of them were full of confidence when they opened the store, but once it opened, it was always lukewarm and lukewarm. The first year was barely passable, but this year it has been getting worse and worse. Not to mention that they can't make any money, they even put it in. She finally understood that they didn't have the life to do business. Not opening a store equals no chicken to eat. Pei Shu absolutely disagrees. "The boss gave me a 5 yuan discount, which proves that we are destined. I'll borrow your pen and paper to use." The landlady enthusiastically handed her a pen and paper from the cashier and watched as she quickly drew a bunch of incomprehensible symbols, then folded them into triangles and drew 4 in a row. "Stick one on each side and one on the wall behind you, whichever you want. It's best to stick it higher, in areas that others can't touch. Your business should improve in the next few days." Except for the shape of the talismans that she knew were the same, the rest of them had nothing to do with it. This paper was still the ordering paper in the store, and the landlady was a bit confused. She was puzzled, but her hand was still faster than her brain and took it over. Seeing her take in Pei Shu, she turned around and left. "Husband, come on, come on." Thinking something big had happened, the boss who was tidying up in the kitchen quickly ran out and said, "What's going on? What's going on?" The landlady told him everything and also raised her hand to show him the talismans. "Do you think we should give it a try?" After pondering for a moment, the boss finally made a decision and said, "Jiba. Anyway, if the business is good and the situation doesn't improve, forget it. Anyway, we've all decided not to work next month." Sigh, the landlady let out a long sigh. "That's right, let's take it as the customer's goodwill." The couple followed Pei Shu's instructions and pasted talismans on all sides before pulling down the door curtain. What they didn't know was that with this sticker, they were waiting for a full bowl. Pei Shu, who was full of food and drink on the other side, returned to her phone. She couldn't help but look at it, but was startled. The number of fans on the live broadcast suddenly increased to over 3,000, just like riding a roller coaster. Seeing the familiar mosaic come back, the crowd below brushes the screen, "Waiting for you, master. Waiting for master. Waiting for master, Master Wanan. Waiting for you, master." If you're new here, you might think you've accidentally joined some strange organization. Come and read it to me again. This is the entertainment anchor room. Yes, yes, everything the master said is right. Yes, yes, we are serious about watching entertainment anchors. Master, you're back. Tang Yu had been trembling for over an hour over there, and when he saw Pei Shu coming back, his tone was filled with surprise. "Well, it should be almost done. Take a look." I just checked and there hasn't been any movement yet. Hey, wait, there seems to be a figure on the stairs. Really? I saw it too. That staircase seems to flash. I'm going. Is it so scary? There was indeed a figure on the surveillance screen, walking up from the staircase. Everyone's attention had been focused on the elevator just now, but I didn't expect this person to appear from the staircase. But fortunately, it's a person, not anything else. Tang Yu had sharp eyes. With so much time spent together, he recognized her boyfriend Chen Hao at first sight. He's really here. What exactly does he want to do? We've already broken up. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. May you be well. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. May you be well. The figures in the surveillance footage were swaying and swaying, as if drunk. They were almost unable to stand still, but they could still recognize Tang Yu's home. Approaching the madness of knocking on the door, no one paid attention for a while. Perhaps it had angered him. He began to kick the door with his feet, with such force that he was afraid he wanted to kick it open. Fortunately, the quality of the door was good, and he was not able to fulfill his wish. Then he reached into his clothes and groped for a while, finally remembering that he still had the key. With the key inserted, the door was opened, and everyone watching the live broadcast, including Tang Yu himself, was extremely scared. If she were still at home tonight, facing such a pervert, I don't know what would happen. Master, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know what to do tonight. She is the only one who rents this place. If something really happens, it's called Tian Tian Lingling in calling the land inappropriate. I think the little sister should move. It's too scary, right. I also think that this man has your keys. Even if he changes the lock, he knows where your house lives. It's simply impossible to defend against it. Those contact information are all blocked. It's best to even change your phone number to completely eliminate the possibility of this man bothering you again. Tang Yu was deeply moved by everyone's kindness and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely move and won't let him find me again. Actually, it's not necessary. He shouldn't dare to pester you again after tonight." Master, what do you mean? You guys, look at the surveillance footage. I'll go. Is there anyone else in this room? It's so scary. What's the situation? The barrage on the public screen reminds everyone of what is happening in the surveillance video. Chen Hao, who had just swaggered open the door and entered, seemed to have not closed it. At this moment, he was lying on the ground, trying hard to climb out, as if someone was pulling him from behind. As he was about to be dragged in that moment his hands gripped the door frame, as if seeing hope, he struggled desperately towards the outside. Unfortunately, his strength couldn't match what was inside. Soon, he was dragged inside, the door was closed, and the surveillance footage returned to calm. Do you want to call the police? Isn't this just called the present life report? Yes, who said he abused animals? But after all, this is a human life. Let's call the police. What's so pitiful about such a scumbag? Little virgin heart, unidentified attack. You figure it out, the people inside may have been burglars. Public screen internet users have already started arguing, each expressing their own opinions and arguing fiercely. Alright, stop arguing. I have already called the police. After all, this is a matter of human life. Although he killed my big hair, I cannot watch a human life cause an accident in front of me. The netizens below were still frantically sending messages, but Pei Shu didn't pay any attention. At this moment, the big hair, propped up by the scattered moonlight, jumped in from the window and ran to her side to spin around. That's all for today's live broadcast. It's estimated to start tomorrow in the afternoon. Goodbye everyone. Before everyone could say anything more, Pei Shu reached out and pressed the option to turn off the live broadcast. The mobile interface returned to today's live broadcast revenue page. Let's settle for the profit of 398, it's just that this profit ends every month. She can't order 3 servings tomorrow. Just thinking about this makes her feel so painful. Meow 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 meow, the little cat at her feet was still barking, as if asking why she ignored her. Pei Shu squatted down and nodded at its head, feeling a bit helpless. Didn't you play to death, did you? Meow meow, that's good, go say goodbye to your master and I'll take you to the underworld. Tang Yu waited at the entrance of the community for a while until the police car arrived before daring to follow them upstairs and also showed them the surveillance footage. Just as everyone thought it was a malignant incident of burglary, they nervously opened the door and only saw Chen Hao lying on the floor of the living room as if asleep. The strong alcohol smell told them that the person was probably drunk and lying on the ground asleep. Isn't this person asleep? Tang Yu was also a bit embarrassed. Although he had just seen something different in the surveillance footage, it seemed like someone was dragging him inside. Hey, wake up, wake up. A police officer stepped forward to check and shouted while patting his face. Just then, his head tilted and bright red blood flowed out of his mouth. Hurry up, call 120. A wave of chaos and chaos, if it weren't for Chen Hao's faint aura, it would have almost become a criminal case. Chen Hao's bones were almost shattered all over his body, especially his feet and leg bones, which were basically a pile of soft flesh. Fortunately, he was still hanging in one breath and could only spend the rest of his life in bed. This incident happened after they broke up, and Tang Yu himself was not at home with a lot of witnesses. In addition, he broke in without authorization, and all consequences were his own responsibility. And the culprit has never been found because Chen Hao has gone crazy. The doctor said he was greatly stimulated, and his whole body couldn't speak fluently, shouting ghosts every day, don't kill me, I was wrong, and so on. The Chen family still wants to rely on Tang Yu, but Tang Yu has long been obedient and changed all his contact information to live in a different city, but this is all for now. After cooperating with the police, Tang Yu returned to the hotel at 3 a.m. Too many things happened today, and she felt exhausted like she had never been before. As soon as her buttocks touched the bed, drowsiness hit uncontrollably, and before she could even rub her eyes, she collapsed. Tang Yu returned home again, and she was secretly wondering why she came over again. She had just left. Meow, a familiar cat cry pulled back all her thoughts, watching the little cat happily running out of the room to pick her up. Demao. Demao. Is it really you? Demao, I finally found you. I thought you were dead. Tang Yu, realizing something, couldn't help but shed tears. Demao, are you worried about Mama? Have you come back to see Mama? Demao meowed and nodded slightly, as if responding to her words. I'm sorry, Demao. It's all my fault. If I could break up with Chen Hao earlier, you might not have died. It's all my fault, it's all my fault. Meow meow, Demao rubbed her face and then extended his tongue to lick her, giving it its own unique comfort. It meowed a few more times and suddenly withdrew from her embrace, starting to walk towards the door. Demao, where are you going? Demao, come back quickly and don't go out. Meow, meow, meow. Demao stopped and looked back and forth at her, then let out another scream. Tang Yu seemed to understand now. It was bidding farewell, it was leaving, and the only thing it felt uneasy about was itself. Go ahead, I will be fine. Invest in a better family in the next life, happy and worry-free for the rest of your life, don't suffer those hardships anymore. End of this chapter.